Once upon a time, a change had occurred to the world. That wasn't something ordinary like shifts on tectonic plates or a volcanic eruption. Monsters suddenly appear to the world, pushing the world to a brink of extinction, and there are a lot of them. The entity that made them possible to appear was the Tower, the mysterious land that gave those monsters power and authority. People call it the Devil's Tower or God's Tower. The reason why they called that is because you will climb the tower and everything you could ever wish for will be inside. Power, wealth, and honor. Climb the tower and they will satisfy all your desires. Fight through the challenges they have for you. A massive tower has a total of 999 floors. The beings that commanded those floors were gods and demons. Governments around the world try to stop people approaching that tower, but nobody could stop people from challenging the tower. And just like the gods and demons had proclaimed, those who try to stop the others from challenging the tower were punished. It's been 5 years since billions of people have started paying attention to the tower. Let's start humanity's first attempt at clearing the 600th floors. This man was daring the 9 star to stop him. Amongst the million of the challengers, 9 people stood above him, using the magic and holy energy they had earned from the tower. Their powers were second to none. One of the stars was saying to be careful with the man because he was not stable right now. And he said to the 9 stars that there is no chance to stop his noble actions, and don't think that this will be the end of their death. He was a star called a dark star or death star. He wasn't a master of a weapon nor was he a superhuman, but he was the man who managed to surpass the 9 star and take the title of the strongest. He was Cha Jinhyuk, the protagonist of our story. The man who brings death. The epitome of death. The greatest necromancer. Cha Jinhyuk was bored of peace and humanity. He needs to be strong and he will use all the stars as summoned beasts and become the greatest. The 1 star knew that Cha Jinhyuk betrayed humanity and sided with the devil. They have no choice now but to execute the traitor Cha Jinhyuk. Although Cha Jinhyuk betrayed and attacked the 9 star after being consumed by power, he was unable now to defeat the entirety of the 9 stars on his own. The 9 star attacked him. Cha Jinhyuk, the traitor who betrayed humanity for power, dies. But that was just a story the world was aware of. Cha Jinhyuk did not betray humanity. In fact, he was betrayed by the 9 stars, 8 to be exact. However, that fact was hidden from the world, and 10 years have passed since then. Mosquitoes flying around, he was sleeping and suddenly had a dream in the middle of his sleeping, saying he will return for the 9 star. He was shouting out loud and realizing he was in his house. His secret skill is still working, soul's transmission. At the moment he is about to face death, the spell allows him to send his soul to a body that suits him. Looks like it managed to find him a body with a similar physicality. He was angry with those 9 star who betrayed him. He would have been fine clearing the 600th floors by himself. The 9 star offered him help, but unfortunately they betrayed him. When the 9 star betrayed him, he was asking why. And the paladin answers him if he wants to know why he was betrayed. The saintess talked to him. Even if he was called a one-man army, still he was nothing compared to them. And he said that he was trying to help. The paladin answered him that he doesn't have to take things so personally. The paladin said to him that they don't have any bad feelings for him and just say pulling out weeds. His friend and the star of combat amongst the 9 star Choi Gyung-hoon decided not to participate in clearing the 600th floor. The paladin did not tell Choi Gyung-hoon because he was worried that the combat would help Cha Jinhyuk. His vision was starting to blur because he lost too much blood. Saying that it was his loss, he would die once, but this not will be the end of everything. He will return stronger for the traitors. He will make sure that he will get his revenge for them. He feels so much anger and says he won't even turn them into his summoned beasts. He'll make sure to grind their souls and prevent them from ever reincarnating. He saw a phone ringing on his bed, and he was surprised it was a smartphone. Maybe it's because he hasn't used one in a while, but it's pretty nice. When he opened his phone, He saw and realized that 10 years had passed. It felt like mere moments, 10 years, and asking himself what kind of skill he has. He was asking if he could even use magic with what he had. The mosquito was flying, he killed it using his hand. He tried to use his power, then he ordered the insect to wake up. But his power did not work and the mosquito did not awaken even though he ordered it over and over again. There is no single mana in his body, and that means he needs to climb the tower without a single skill he can use. Asking himself again if 10 years have passed, it means they still managed to climb the top of the tower. Then he read on his phone that the 9-star Choi Gyeonhun reached the floor 800 and he was shocked, because they used to climb the 200 floors of the tower in the last 10 years. And saying that this would be his chance. While they're taking their sweet time climbing the tower, he can catch up and get his revenge. He grabbed his jacket and ran out, saying that training outside the tower is pointless. Although his body may be a beginner, he has the knowledge of the Death Star Cha Jin-hyuk. He will use his knowledge and know-how to get strong fast. He was at the entrance of the Soul Tower. There are so many people waiting for the tower to open. Many people wanted to clear the tower and become rich. This was the place where everyone's hope and stories were collected. This was the tower. He was finally back on the name Cha Jin-hyuk. The door of the tower opens, people are running fast, even him. And this would be the start of his revenge. The door closed, he was now inside of the tower, he is now entering the tutorial stage. There is no other place apart from the tutorial where they can experience such a level of difficulty, a path filled with traps that would require a few days of running to reach the end. Everyone says that out of the 10 floors, this place was the most ridiculous. The tutorial objective is they need to reach the destination by getting past all the traps. And all is recovered when they reach either the destination or the starting point. He needs to see his body stats, then he saw his window status, he says that it was horrible, he saw new stats that aren't the stats he had before. His traits and his physical appearance are much differ between his souls. Then during the tutorial he will get everything he can out. He was running through the maze and left the starting point of the tutorial, the magic arrow trap has been triggered. From the moment the arrow was shot, it was the only way he could see it. He ran fast so that the arrows would not hit him, but unfortunately he was shot not just once, but so many times. He has wounds now and he still keeps going so that he can finish the tutorial, then suddenly he was returned to the starting points. All of his damage had been recovered. From the start of the tutorial he saw how long he can endure, but he can't mindlessly run forward. The 2 traits that made him Earth's strongest climber. One of them is gluttony. The blood that spilled was lifeless, and the experience he got from spilling it will be with him. He received a reward all stats +1, and his tolerance EXP has increased. Even if he doesn't bother with any annoying equipment settings, he can still withstand the basic status abnormalities. It will take him a week to clear the tutorial and become a great climber, but he is going to tank all of the arrows shot and continue, and he is going to improve his stats with gluttony until he max out the tolerance EXP. 1 month later, he finished and cleared the tutorial, and now several gods and demons are taking an interest in his method. The demon and gods are watching them to see if someone is similar to them. None of them are revealing either their god name or their real name. They must be playing tricks to make him a disciple. Even if he did well in the tutorial, there's no need to scout him. The peak of all evil is greeting him, and it was Baal. In his previous life Baal was the demon who stuck him like glue in order to make him a disciple. He was asking himself if the demon recognized his appearance. It was the person who let him obtain soul transmission. Many gods and demons have an interest with him, and that's because of Baal for the soul transmission he gave to him. All of the gods and demons were annoying him. He was saying to them if they want to observe in secret, then they need to shut up and watch. All of his stats have been obtained, and he says that it was good though, because it was so hard to get mana in the body. Since he was a mana type, He was able to increase his mana even though it's something that doesn't usually increase. And due to his growth progression, a trait has been unlocked. He already has a gluttony, a new trait for him all-rounder, and he was asking what all-rounder means. It says here that an all-rounder is a talent that allows him to be good at everything. No matter the technique, a proficiency adjustment is applied during training. And during combat, there is an additional adjustment in proportion for his proficiency. He feels amazing about it, and with this it might be possible. Then the Peak of Evil is curious about his status window. He just simply ignores it and said to Ball that he was moving into the next floor and feel free to follow him. The Peak of Evil asked him if he could follow and Ball was coming with him. Then he entered the room of choice and training. He was now inside of the room, and there was a weapon and class to choose for, and choose that suits him. The computer said that once he has completed his selection, destroy the floor beneath him. He will be transported to the first floor of the trial. But in his past life, after he found out that he has a mana type, he didn't even hesitate and chose to become a mage. However, he generates practice targets. Because he has a trait all-rounder, he checked out how impressive it was. The target was generated for him and he generates many targets. The computer said that he hadn't selected a class yet, but his attacking target was too dangerous. And other targets have been generated, but the settings have changed. The targets will now attack the player. He is still attacking the target and the target also keeps on attacking him. All of the targets have been slashed by him. But the difficulty of targets have increased. The target now is much larger. He leaps high down to the head of the target, and he kills the target. He didn't know that there was a ranged attacker behind him. The ranged attacker shot him and he actively ran. The computer said that the ranged attacker was the most dangerous target that could be spawned in the floor. Cha Jinhyuk uses his specialty. He uses a magic arrow or a magic staff to attack the target, and all of it was destroyed by the staff he had. He was amazed by the power of the all-rounder trait, and it's like he has been using this power for years. He cleared the achievement and he saw his achievement window, and he was asked if he wanted to select the All Masters as his class name. He said to his mind that if it's the All Masters class, he can't abandon his greatest advantage. He needs to choose it as his main class, and if that's the case he would select All Masters as his subclass. Then he was asking himself if he was able to do it. But the system said that subclasses would be unlocked after the 100th floor. Nearly he forgot that this was an early game, and if he doesn't select a class he can't leave the room of choice and training, although it might be a waste, and he was asking if he should use his accomplishment points. To unlock the subclass slot, can he do it with his accomplishment points, asking himself again. A currency that can be obtained by completing the accomplishments, or accomplishment points. Using the points allows the user to make changes to the system. He read the accomplishment deals, but he doesn't have enough accomplishment points currently. He guesses that he has no choice. He would be using Ball now to get enough accomplishment points. He was just talking to Ball and getting accomplishment points. The system asked him if he liked to use his accomplishment points and select All Masters as his subclass. And he chooses All Masters as his subclass, and now he would be transported to the first floor of the tower after destroying the room of choice and training. The first floor was in the Coral Forest, and there were other challengers on the floor, and they were saying that how can they survive in the tower if the first floor is already a difficult part for them. A group of kobolds was in the forest as their enemy, and Cha Jinhyuk falls down from the portal and attacked his first prey. The challengers and the kobolds was shocked to him, and Cha Jinhyuk wonders if he would devour the kobolds what he would earn. This challenger was amazed because Cha Jinhyuk defeated the kobold in just one go, and they were thinking that he was a class mage because of the magic staff he was holding. They were saying that they can defeat Cha Jinhyuk if they fight together and combine their powers. But Cha Jinhyuk said to them that if they touched one of the kobolds they would die, and the challengers were afraid and running away. Only 2 kobolds left, and Cha Jinhyuk asks them if they want to avenge their comrade. The two kobolds now are attacking him, but unfortunately they fail to kill him, and they were struck and killed by his magic staff, and the three kobolds were killed by him. He needs to clear the quest in order to proceed to the next floor, and he was thinking, since he was doing it already, obtaining the Slayer achievement beforehand would be good. If he killed one type of monster 1,000 times, he would receive the achievement of being a Slayer. In the past he went around to obtain all the Slayer achievements, then he was hungry and he needed to fill out his empty stomach. He used his gluttony power to absorb the spirit of the kobolds. He can see and feel now the kobolds' memories, and all of the strength of the kobolds became his strength. He can also now understand the language of the kobolds. He read his status window and all of his stats had increased much. It was like he was on a level of the 10th floor climber. Since he is on all masters, he could get all the bonuses that come with all the classes. He uses the memory of the kobold to see what happens next. He saw a kobold's lord. A lord monster is the harbinger of a monster's wave, and he would get his Slayer achievement at the same time. And he was thinking, if he wants to face a wave he needs some army to help him. He uses his mana and orders the kobold to awaken, and the two kobolds have awakened and become awakened bones. He successfully changed his classes from Master's class to Necromancer. He was saying, since he was an all-master and has his past life's memories, changing classes now is so simple to him. But he was not satisfied with all of what happened and changed, since there is still a hidden class he needs to get on the first floor. He orders his skeleton soldiers to all the kobolds they see, and his two armies become 10. Then he saw an abandoned house. Then he got inside of the house and he saw a hole, which was the hidden class of the first floor. He steps to the staircase and just simply says that the Necromancer is a high-ranking class and is a mage that uses souls. When he found the class-changing coffin, he knew that the very first spirit master was Vulcan. Then a skeleton gets out in the coffin and asks him if he was his descendant. Vulcan was shocked, because it seems Cha Jinhyuk didn't surprise him even if he did his best to appear fabulously. Then Cha Jinhyuk replied to him and simply said that should be a necromancer would surprised seeing in skeleton. And said that he came after he read Vulcan's journal. He had already gone past the stage where he should be surprised. This was a hidden item, journal of the spirit master Vulcan. He hasn't read it in this life, but during the time he lost all his worth after changing his class to mage, he discovered the journal and came back down to the first floor. Then when he became the spirit master he failed trying to make Vulcan one of his summons. Vulcan said to him that he likes him. Then Cha Jinhyuk said to Vulcan that he was better than that mannerless bastard from 10 years ago. Cha Jinhyuk was planning to destroy him. He said to Vulcan that he wants to change his class right away. But Vulcan feels sorry for him, because in order to change his class he needs to go to the 10th floor first. Vulcan explains that a spirit master is a class with a higher rank than even a necromancer. First he needs to make the second class change in the class-changing tower on the 10th floor. Then he said to Vulcan that he is already a necromancer and he showed his status to Vulcan. Then Vulcan was shocked because Cha Jinhyuk changed his class on his own without going to the 10th floor and was amazed and said, "What a great talent." He asked Vulcan if he wasn't going to change his class. Then Vulcan releases his power and Cha Jinhyuk was sitting on the floor and read in his mind that in the past before the tower appeared on Earth there was a climber who ruled over. Although he was the strongest necromancer he kept looking for ways to become even more powerful. Summons that are made of skin and bones aren't enough, and instead of a lich or death knight, he wanted to summon something completely different. He called for the souls of the dead. With this he'd be able to create a new summon that surpasses the existing ones. And after a long time, he succeeded and created a new class, Spirit Master. However, his whole body reached his limits and the Spirit Master class also ended up on a brink of disappearance. So he chose his last resort, which was to use necromancy on himself, hoping that his descendants would reclaim his honor. So in order to find a climber to follow his footsteps, he became someone who was half of an NPC. Vulcan was shocked, because the punk he mentioned before was the second and now he is the third spirit master. Then he gave and said to Cha Jinhyuk that he needs to use the soul crucible to capture souls and in turn he'll become able to call his summons. Cha Jinhyuk feels great and thanks to Vulcan. And with the soul crucible he gave to him, his first capture was Vulcan. And he slowly came to Vulcan and collected his soul, and all of the soul of Vulcan had been collected by him. Cha Jinhyuk created a personal prison to Vulcan, a magic wall which was a low-class spell, and Vulcan think that he can break the magic wall created to him, but that's not the only thing of the wall. On the way he scattered kobolds' mana stones and was cast magic to make them triggered. Vulcan was thinking and asking who he was, and how a first-floor climber had such skill and tactics. Then Cha Jinhyuk happily said that maybe he failed in the past life, but now he finally captured Vulcan, then revealed his face, and Vulcan was shocked because he knew the second spirit master was Cha Jinhyuk and was deemed as the third one. He finished collecting the soul of Vulcan and simply said that now Vulcan was with him, everything that Vulcan wanted will come true. When he finished absorbing all the spirit of Vulcan, he got out in the abandoned house and the peak of evil was staring at him. The death-observing demon was curious about his class. He was just smiling and was saying that the gods and demons cannot enter the room of class change. He simply said to them that they will show them soon enough even if they don't pester him. He was guessing that he didn't need a skeleton soldier anymore. All of his armies were shattered by him, and all of the kobolds he absorbed were awakened by him to become his new armies. Even Vulcan was awakened, daring Cha Jinhyuk to make him a soldier. Then he was smiling at the Vulcan and said that the Vulcan must have been pretty handsome when he was young. He was angry at Cha Jinhyuk, but he couldn't use his power. He was alive because of Cha Jinhyuk's mana. If he will cut it off, he will dissipate immediately. Vulcan said to Cha Jinhyuk that he wouldn't obey him like a dog, but Cha Jinhyuk said that there is nothing he could do with it. And he said to Vulcan what he could do with his familiars that didn't obey him, and transformed them into soul orbs and absorbed them. And also don't forget what his trait is. Vulcan was thinking that Cha Jinhyuk was still possessed an insane skill, gluttony, and if he would not obey him he thinks that Cha Jinhyuk will swallow him whole. Vulcan was asking him what he could do. Then Cha Jinhyuk said that they needed to take down the bastards, which was the Kobold Lord. In the gate of the castle there are two kobolds guarding and they saw Cha Jinhyuk was coming to them. He uses his power gluttony to awaken all his army and attack all the kobolds in the castle. The kobolds are no longer a match for him, because he has 30 spirit kobolds serving for him. Cha Jinhyuk said to the kobolds to bring him to their lord and he called them a scum. The Kobold Lord was feeling him and said that Cha Jinhyuk was an intruder and he ordered his army to prepare the offerings quickly. Cha Jinhyuk and his soul armies was inside in the castle and slowly attacking all of the Kobold's Lord armies. Then he sensed his aura and felt that the Kobold Lord was getting nearer. The peak of evil was rooting him with light batons, but he insisted because he knew for himself that he would win against the Kobold Lord. The Kobold Lord was offering humans to glorify the death of observing demons, and the next offer was a Dakibi which was not a human, and the Lord said that the Dakibi would be a better offer than humans. But unfortunately Cha Jinhyuk arrived and saved the girl. He said that well, either way irrelevant since the Lord is going to fail. The Kobold Lord was shocked with him, and Cha Jinhyuk aware with the Lord, and he was laughing and said that the Lord was the scum leader of the kobolds. The Kobold Lord introduced himself to Cha Jinhyuk, and said that he was Kalam, the king of all kobolds, and Cha Jinhyuk must give respect to him. Cha Jinhyuk said to him that he was too arrogant for the first-floor monster. The girl was watching them talking, and don't know what's going on, and seems the Kobold Lord was distracted with Cha Jinhyuk. She has now the time to escape, then she ran away to the Kobold Lord. But the Kobold Lord caught her, and the Kobold Lord called the death-observing demon and he was asking for some strength with it. Then Cha Jinhyuk was shocked why the Lord called the death-observing demon, and the Lord released the corpse spear given to him and the girl was hit a little and got fallen into the floor. Cha Jinyuk was running towards the girl and punched the corpse of the spear and broke it. The Lord was shocked because his attack had just been kicked away with Cha Jinyuk. The girl was thanking him, and he said that he didn't mind and wanted the girl to get out of the place. He saw the horn of the girl and he was asking if the girl was a dakibi, and he was saying that the dakibi was a powerful species that lives on the 100th floor, and there is no reason for them to descend below the level, especially for an individual that hasn't even reached adulthood. Then he was thinking that if something happened on the 100th floor, he needs to save the girl so that he can get some information later. The Lord was angry and dared Cha Jinyuk that interfere his offering to them, and he said to the girl that if she wanted to live go and hide somewhere, because he won't save the girl life twice. And the girl was running and hiding, and the Lord was using his power to his army and said to Cha Jinyuk to try to block them because it was a fresh corpse and it would be twice powerful. A corpse bomb was released and Cha Jinyuk said that it was too slow for him, and said that the mana of the Lord is way too poor and he punched it in the face. The Lord was asking why, and why does a first-floor climber have such strength? Cha Jinyuk was on his way to attack the Lord, but the Lord called the death-observing demon again and asked to redeem him. And a blood golem appeared in front of him and was asking himself how the bastard summoned such a high-level familiar, and the blood golem attacked Cha Jinyuk and he crashed into the floor. And the blood talked to him and said that this was his strongest seance. Cha Jinyuk was saying, "Does the blood golem know who he is talking to right now?" Then showed his mana. All of his soul's kobold attacked the blood and the blood was slowly falling and fading in front of the kobold lord. And he said even if he was a lord master, blood golems aren't something a kobold can create. The death-observing demon was startled. He knew that the death-observing demon was Bune. Since Bune was curious about his power as a spirit master, he summoned a blood golem when he saw that Cha Jinyuk was fighting one of his believers, and he said to the Lord that he was played like a toy. The Lord mana was depleted. Since Bune forcibly summoned the golem, it couldn't be helped. And the Lord was shouting to Cha Jinyuk that there is no way Bune can find him, and Bune will avenge him even if he dies. All of the soul's kobold held the Lord up high in the ground. Then Cha Jinyuk said to business that this was the end of his toy the kobold lord, and said that he would make sure that Bune would pay after trying to test him in the first place. Then the death-observing demon was laughing heartily and saying that he loves it. He smashed his hand and the kobold lord was hanged and killed by him. He kept the soul of the Lord. He made it a soul orb production, one of the basic skills of a necromancer. A skill that allows the user to collect souls and create medicine that can be used. But unfortunately he ate it. It wasn't good as he thought it would be, but that won't mean anything once he passed the 50th floor, he said. The girl appeared in front of him and she introduced herself. She said that she was Haryu and seemed scared with Cha Jinyuk. But Cha Jinyuk said that there is nothing to worry about, he just happened to be there since he needed to take care of the kobold lord, and the girl was still thanking him for saving her life. Cha Jinyuk asked the girl what he would do if he was a bad guy though, and he could kill or sell a dakibi like her. And the girl answered if that would happen she would handle it. He said to the girl that when it comes to favors and revenge, they make sure they pay back their dues just like a dakibi. He asked the girl some questions. He asked why someone that should be on the 100th floor like her in a place like this. And the girl answered that someone attacked the dakibi village on the 100th floor. She said that dakibi are a pretty strong species within the tower, and even as a climber, it wouldn't be easy to bother them like that. He was asking the girl if it was one of the 4 great species, the colossuses of strength and giants, the essence of magic and dragons, the masters of demonic energy demons, or the wings of retribution angels. It was the 4 greatest species within the tower that controlled everything. He was thinking that they would have to be part of the 4 great species to bother dakibi with such disregard, or at the very least, someone that has one of their support. Or maybe the 9-star, it could be someone that has relations to their guild. He was going to leave now and the girl asked him where. He asked the girl if she intended to stay there, surrounded by pools of blood. The girl said that if it's fine she would come with him. Then he was thinking although she's still young, it wouldn't be a bad idea to let her join his party. He said to the girl that he was busy and he wouldn't be able to protect him, but the girl insisted that she could take care of herself. Cha Jinhyuk reminded the girl that she was almost killed with the Kobold Lord just a few minutes pass. And the girl giggly said it's because she let her guard down. Cha Jinhyuk has no choice but to let the girl come with him. He was guessing that he needs to get some new clothes. It will be a hassle if he garners attention with his blood-stained clothes. They saw an equipment item floating above the body of the Kobold Lord, then he got new clothes. They were outside now, then Vulcan appeared and said that there is no living kobold within the castle. And the girl was shocked, and Vulcan was asking if she could see him, and the girl said that a few of the Dakibi have a high affinity with souls. The system sends a monster wave quest, and he was asked if he wanted to accept it. Vulcan and Haryu were shocked, and he said that if he wasn't going to, there would have been no point in coming all the way there to defeat the Lord. Peak of Evil thinks that it was reckless, and one god was concerned about his recklessness. And the system said that the death-observing demon will give him a reward if he ranks first in the contribution. Then he made his decision after seeing the reward. And the Vulcan said that he can't believe Cha Jinhyuk, and does Cha Jinhyuk really wanted to die. Then Cha Jinhyuk presses yes on the system, and the system sends a monster wave of occurrence. All of the challengers were shocked and they were asking who the bastard accepted the wave. They were worried that if the wave came all of them would die. The guy was shouting to everyone that they would clear the quest. They better move and hurry to the second floor, because once the wave starts they won't be able to leave even if they want to. And the portal opened and the wave just got started. There were so many kobolds running towards them. But Cha Jinhyuk appeared in front of the wave and said that if one of them touched them, they would slaughter all of them. All of the challengers were shouting and asking who was them, and Cha Jinhyuk uses his mana and all of the kobold souls arise in front of them. They knew that he was a necromancer, and asked themselves how he got a class. Haryu asked if she could try for a slayer, and he said that she better hurry because he doesn't think that the spirit soldiers are gonna leave him any. The girl opens her pocket plane and get her sword and attack the kobolds, and Cha Jinhyuk know that sword was not an ordinary one, and a young Dakibi who handles it with ease, was the invader targets or her perhaps. This one was calling Cha Jinhyuk and asking who are they to control the wave, but Cha Jinhyuk answer asking who is he. And the man answered that he was Kim, the White Swallow Guild. He said to Cha Jinhyuk that the famous 9-star Pelin siblings were the Holy Land Guild, and the White Swallow was their subsidiary guild. But Cha Jinhyuk was playing with him, telling him that he was shocked and amazed, but the kobold spirit was back at him and he was clipped in the neck, and Cha Jinhyuk that he needed some information. He pointed out his sword and said that he had some questions for him once the wave was over. These two were asking Cha Jinhyuk why he was getting in their way when they were just fellow climbers, and also said that Cha Jinhyuk was threatening people just because he was stronger than them. And Cha Jinhyuk answered them that it was obvious that they cannot hit others, they cannot kill others, they cannot steal from others, and these are all valid on Earth. And in the tower strength all of that matters. Kim was trying to get off, and Cha Jinhyuk said that he just spared him because he needed some information, and also said that stay far from him instead of blabbering and making him want to kill him. Kim said that they might run away, because they might actually die if the bastard catches them again. Cha Jinhyuk and Vulcan were attacking the wave of kobolds. The kobolds were so many, and Cha Jinhyuk said that he would going to fight and Vulcan will control. They raise a skeleton to attack the kobolds, and all of the kobolds that had been killed with Vulcan would become a skeleton. The two of them played the attack and Haryu was busy attacking the kobolds too. She said that there are way too many of them and he didn't know that there was a kobold behind her and was attacking her and she was smacked at the back, then she was hurt. She realizes that it was something similar to the pain she experienced while his village was burning, then she said that it was nothing. She kneeled into the ground and barely said that it was her limit, then she was amazed with Cha Jinhyuk because he was merely a first-floor climber, and asking how is a human able to be so strong like that. She said in his mind that she needed to follow Cha Jinhyuk and climb the tower, and in that way she can get revenge on her village. A kobold tries to strike her behind, but Vulcan saves her. Vulcan asked her if she was all right and she answered that she was and she can do it on his own. Vulcan was thinking that the girl was full of resolve, and asking his mind what she was going through. The girl asked him why he helped her. While she was running away from the 100th floor, nobody tried to help her. And she was just glad that nobody tried to do harm with her. She was saying that Vulcan helped her because he is wanting something. And Vulcan said that spirit soldiers must obey the orders of the spirit master, that's all there is to it. He said that it was under Cha Jinhyuk's order. He told him to make sure the girl didn't die and to make certain the girl accomplished her goal. She was thinking and saying that Cha Jinhyuk was the one who helped her within the tower, and she was making sure she would pay his debt. She uses a mask to activate her strength, and she looks so powerful wearing it. All of the kobolds were shocked, even Cha Jinhyuk watching it. She barely attacked all of the kobolds. Cha Jinhyuk knew now that the ones attacking the village of Dakibi were aiming for Haryu and her sword. And he was thinking that it would be better if he could keep it a secret, and if the girl knew that she was the reason why her village was attacked she might be hurt about it. 1 minute until the end of the wave, and the wave gate was getting smaller. And that kobold must be the last one. Cha Jinhyuk spared it with his sword and the kobold was killed. The wave was over and they successfully stopped the wave. Cha Jinhyuk asked the girl if she was okay and said that wasn't a skill that she should use while she was exhausted. And the girl was thanking him, and the system was showing good to them.